Gemma Sharples is a multi-million-pound business owner and a Guinness World Record holder for completing the longest single event triathlon. She's built and scaled businesses across a range of industries, from e-commerce and construction to coaching and training, taking them all to multi-million-pound success. Most recently, she's launched the clothing brand Discipline. I sat down with Gemma to talk about her journey, what drives her, and what it really takes to achieve success at the highest level. Take one.
We'll be at 100 soon.
I know, yeah. So, who is Gemma Sharples?
Who is Gemma Sharples? Firstly, I'm a mum. Do a very good job at that. Business owner, multiple business owner, a world record holder. Very determined in what I set out to do. Apply myself in everything. Always want the best out of every situation that I go into, and just standards and try my best. I'm just kind of a easygoing flow type of person. Does that make sense? Like, there's a lot of things I've done in my life that most people probably wouldn't do or stress out over it, and I'd kind of just look at things and think, why not just try? We're only here for a short time. So I don't really take anything that I've ever done or plan to do too serious, really. And I think that's what has allowed me to have success in different areas of my life, really.
Just picking up on that, you've started a brand now. What is that brand and what does it stand for?
Yeah, so the brand that we've started is Discipline. And we say we started it, it runs through the core of all of our businesses that we currently have, and it has done for years. So the brand Discipline, it represents doing the right thing, doing what you say you're going to do, and being just disciplined to what it is. So it's not just a brand as a clothing brand, it's something that actually we teach as a model, and people live their life by it and have done very well with it as well.
So then why are you doing it all, Gemma?
Why?
Why are you doing it all?
My answer is why not? Why not? Why not see what you can do while you're here and you're capable of doing things? Why not just give everything a go? If you don't, you're just accepting that the answer's going to be no, or that you can't do it. And I never want to be in my life when I'm older looking back and going, what if?
Do you think that's a reason why you've succeeded in terms of sometimes seeing what you can get away with by asking that question?
It served me really, really well. All of my life, and something else I always say to myself that has served me really, really well, and it'll probably sound quite strange, but anything that's obviously new or anything that's going to push you does take you out of your comfort zone. And it needs to, because you don't know where it's going to lead you or what the result's going to be. And that's the reason you do it. But one of the things that I do often say to myself is, it's all right, you're still alive, it's not going to kill you. And I've done that from being a little girl in every situation, and it's always given me that little bit of like, all right, yeah, it's all right, you're still breathing, let's go.
So within the group of businesses, what is your role, first of all, and what strength do you bring? So my role's changed a lot throughout the years, and I'm quite flexible in my role. There's times when I'll be part of the vision, and there's times when I'm very much the integrator. I believe through the years my strength is the integrator. It's the person that takes the vision, takes what's happening, and actually then puts it into a workable model, something that can work in the business. People can use it, it can start to grow and be something. So it's very much keeping everything running correctly and looking and going, right, if we're going to do this, how is it actually going to fit into what we currently have, and make sure that it doesn't, take us off track. So there's roughly 40,000 people in Redcar. 10% would be 4,000, 1% would be 400, and 0.1% would be 40, and 0.01% would be 4. Now, I don't know the exact number, and it's probably in that region, but what does it take to be one of the most successful business owners, and what do you have that most of the others don't?
I'll talk into what it takes, because I know that personally. It takes a lot of grit. It takes a lot of getting beat up in the way, things don't always go to plan. Being able to then pick yourself up, dust yourself down, and not harbour it for so long, and take the learns from it, even though they can be painful. And it also takes a lot of hard work. And I think what I often see now is people wanting something quick, something easy, and that's short-lived. You know, success is something that you have to build upon, and it's not just about getting to the end destination. It's the journey. It's the character you become in that. If I think about myself now, today, to when I began in business years and years and years ago, things that would have completely, you know, knocked me, now they're just like a little, not even a radar blip, you know, they're nothing. And it takes that time to be successful in business and being able to pick yourself back up. No, take it on the chin if you've fucked up, and take the learns from it, and be able to move with pace at the same time as well. And at the end of the day, like I always say, like, what's the worst that can happen? And with regards to, you did say about other people not being successful. I don't know if you worded it like that. I don't know if I can comment on that because I don't know them as individuals. I can only comment on what I've done as me. And that's kind of, like I said there, having the determination in things. Don't take yourself too seriously. I really don't give a shit about what anybody else thinks about you or what's going on outside of what I call like your circles of control. You can only do what you can do. So just try and be the best version of you.
So from working closely with you, Gemma, over the last 3 years, I know that you're someone who takes the lead on operations. Mm-hmm. So why is it you do that, and what's something you would share with other people?
So, yeah, I do take the lead of operations. And I think that's just who I am. From a very young age, I'm the eldest in my family. I took on responsibilities extremely young, before the age of 11. Made sure that I was very much kind of part of the mothering role within the household, and that then is just part of my character, you know, of who I am. So yeah, I do take over operations. Part of that is also I do like to know what's happening, and I do like some control on things. And that's something where over the years I've had to work on it quite a lot, because in the early days of business I liked to hold on to everything, and it was no good. Like, it would hinder the business, it would stop other people from growing and other things. Through the years I've got better. I've been able to let go of the reins, but that's where my strength comes to play, really, being able to see exactly, right, we're going to do this, what's it going to look like, how do I make sure that it runs smoothly in the business and we don't have like lots of issues going on with it. So it's that vision, thinking forward and going, what do I need to make this work? So I do think it's come a lot from my childhood.
So now I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about your partner, Stephen. So Stephen, what is his role in the business?
Stephen's role, he is amazing at vision, ideas, vision. He lives it, he breathes it. He wakes up talking about it. So Stephen's role is very much the vision, that direction, and very much the front of the business. He's so good as the front of the business, especially in the training business, how he can connect with people, how he can help people establish their vision and what they want from their life and their purpose and their goals as well.
So you and Stephen brought Stephen's best friend in as a manager, the general manager, a couple of years back, and he used to say that, or he still says that Stephen is one of the most misrepresented or misunderstood people. Why is that? And do you agree with it?
Yeah, I do. I really agree with that. He's the most laid back, chilled out, daft person you could ever meet if you really, really, truly get the opportunity, you know, to be let in and to know him. But he doesn't really show his emotions externally that much, so people kind of see this very pan type of person, but he's the absolute opposite. Like, he's a big kid. Really is.
For me, observing Stephen, there's two sides to him really, where when you're in an event, he's on stage, he's outspoken, confident, calling people out, you know, quite loud. But then, you know, personally, he's very quiet and introverted, almost shy. One of our old sales managers used to say that he was a man of a few words. So you know him, and knowing Stephen better than everybody. Who is he?
Stephen at home is that person. He likes to just be in his own little bubble with his immediate family, nice and quiet, nice and chilled, no big events, nothing really flash, and he's just happy, just chilling out in the house. And he is, I think, naturally an introvert. He really is, like in social situations. When he doesn't have to be the showman on stage, if we go to a social gathering, if we can get him there, is a start. And if he is there, he's the person who will blend in. He doesn't take the centre stage, none of that. He's quite happy just being in his own little bubble with that. Obviously, when he's on stage, he's a totally different character. Totally, again. But they say, don't they, that often most people who do have their career or their lifestyle on stage, they're a very different person off it.
So Eric, one of the other directors, he used to work with Mike Ashley, and he says Stephen is the only other person he's seen with the entrepreneurial spirit like Mike Ashley had. So what's it like living with Stephen?
Hard work. He never stops. He doesn't ever stop. But when I say that, it's like anything he does he's not really it's not like he sits at a computer working really hard and he's, I can't speak to anybody, I'm really, really busy, work. It's none of that. He's just proper chilled, and we'll be like doing something and he'll just go, oh, do you know this thing? And he'll start talking about a business thing, and I'll be thinking, where the hell's that come from? Like, when did he have that idea? Why don't I know about that? Why has it already started? And he'll be like, oh, you don't worry about it. It's all fine. And I've got, I need to worry about it because it's me that's going to have to sort it out soon. Like, when did this happen? So he has that spirit in him, but his spirit's really like quite fluid. It's quite chilled. It's quite creative. It's not like, I never see him stressing over things or having to think about things. He's always in flow. So I think that's a natural part of his character. Like he loves it. He loves it. Loves it. I would even say he's obsessed.
With what, being an entrepreneur?
Business. Ideas, creation. He loves the creating side of things. So he'll sit and I'll find him daydreaming, and most people might be chilling out and his little head's going on ideas, and I think, oh God, what's he dreaming up now?
Over the last 3 months, Stephen's become a lot more involved in politics. What is his main driver?
Main driver, the kids, the area, people. His main driver. It's not a particular party or anything. It's looking at the logic of what's being said or what's happening, and looking at the future and saying something needs to change for our children, for the next generations. So that's his driver, really, trying to put things right.
Put things right. So what needs changing in the world right now? God,
what doesn't need changing, Sam? I'm not very much around that type of stuff, Stephen I think he feels there's a responsibility if you can, help in a certain way or stand up for what you believe in. He wants to do that. I do believe that a lot of the time people are lied to. The things we are shown on TV isn't the right message, and we're kind of put in little boxes and moved around for other people's agenda often. And you can look at that in all different types of scenarios and what's happening in the world. But for me, I'm not very politically minded. I'm very much, okay, I'll stand for certain things. COVID I totally disagreed with and went against that and other things, but I don't know what is right and what's wrong. Everybody has their own opinion on it, don't they? What I would say though, with the current government in charge, they're screwing it up. And that kind of gets me. Like, I look at the situation of how they come from a take mentality, take from businesses that are trying, and there's businesses out there that work their asses off, every business does, and they thought, right, we need to take more and more and more and more from you. And then you look at the country and think, right, you're killing the golden goose, you're killing the thing that lays the eggs, you're killing the thing that creates jobs and opportunities for people to, create their own life as well, because there's a lot of the businesses now are having to lay people off. They can't afford to have them or having to even close. And then you look at our economy and go, well, how is that going to be sustainable if we come to a point where there ain't enough jobs? And you know, we've got the millionaires, the billionaires leaving the country who offer the opportunities for jobs and other things and put into the system. What is eventually going to happen?
Eric is one of the directors, and he used to work alongside Mike Ashley. Now he works with Views. Now, over the last 3 years, me and Eric joined the business about the same time. I think I joined about 4 weeks before Eric joined. Yeah. Now, in that time, the biggest thing, I mean, I've learnt loads from working under him, but one of the two biggest things I took away was resilience and being able to like look at problems in a completely different way and just never, you know, having that worry. There's always a solution, and no matter how creative the solution is, you'll always figure it out. So those are my sort of two key takeaways: looking at the world a bit more laterally and having resilience. What are the kind of takeaways that you took from working with somebody like Eric?
Working with Eric, he comes from a different angle. So, you know, when you're working on something and you can't see the wood for the trees and you're in it, I find Eric will often, like, I'll be working in something or we'll be creating something, a new business, and I think everything's, you know, sorted, I've got it boxed off. Stephen will think the same, we'll think, yep, this is all, and then he'll come and go, what about this? I think, how did I miss that? You know, like, how did we not see that? That wasn't even on my radar. So he comes in, obviously, with his experience, his knowledge. He has that oversight of, right, we're in it, we're working in it, but let's pull out and look at all the other options that are available. So it kind of gives that solid foundation to what we're doing. And also another way of looking at things, you know, if you're heading down a certain path with your ideas and your direction, and he comes in and puts something in and you go, yeah, maybe that was a bit shit, maybe we should do that. Oh, Christ, I didn't even think of that. Like, that's going to have a massive impact on what we're going to do. So he, having that third person in the directorship and someone who was like, not just Stephen and myself, where you can kind of all the time be on the same page because you do everything together, having somebody who's not in that situation and coming in brings that, you know, fresh air into the ideas as well.
So there's an interview online of Gary Stevenson and Dan Priestley on the Stephen Bartlett podcast, and Gary Stevenson says that 99.9% don't break the cycle, whereas Dan Priestley argues against it. So as somebody who's built multi-millions of pounds yourself, who's right?
I think anybody can get out of the system. I came from a background, nobody in my family really had, you know, businesses, property, none of that. And I got out, and it was a case of just applying myself. It was hard work. It wasn't like I had a full-time job at the same time, and I would work, you know, during the day, work on the evenings, work on my weekends, and put things in place and educate myself and push myself forward. But I believe if you truly want something and you apply all of your spare time into getting knowledge, understanding things, then it opens up so many doors for you, and the relationships you can make, and even your way of thinking. You kind of stop looking at things, what I call with the toilet roll, you know, tiny, it opens things up. So I believe if people really, really want something, like I look and I think, well, why can't anybody have it?
On about your toilet roll vision and people wanting something, what is your biggest piece of advice to somebody who would want to break the cycle and get out of the rat race and make millions? What's your advice to them?
First of all, know what you want, because it isn't always about the money. I know a lot of people think, oh, you know, I want to make $1 million, I want to make the money. I never went looking, I want to make this. I just, what always been my driver, and it might sound, you know, everyone goes, oh, that's what everyone wants. It's just being happy in what you're doing. So definitely know exactly what you want, because what you don't want to do is push yourself for something, and when you get there, you don't even know you're there, or it's somewhere you didn't want to be. So knowing what that is really important. And looking and going, well, what do you want it for? Is it for yourself? Is it for ego? What is it? What's the main drivers behind that? And I would also say, to get out, you're going to have to work hard. You really are. Like, it ain't going to fall on your lap. It's not going to be easy. You're going to question yourself. There are going to be things you miss out on. There'll be sacrifices that you need to make. But if you know where you're heading and you know what you want, you'll be happy with those sacrifices. Delayed gratification, as we call it, during my 20s, a lot of that happened. I could have had all the things that my friends were doing and all the other bits, but all of my money was ploughed into other things, and my spare time was spent on building what I wanted my vision to be and where I wanted to head. So I would definitely say, know what you want, know why you want it, and be prepared for it not to be smooth. It will be painful at times, and it should scare you at times as well. You should feel out your comfort zone. Well, should I be doing this? You should question it. But that's the bit I like, because if it doesn't scare me and excite me in equal measures, what's the point?
I've heard you say before that the more you succeed, the more criticism you'll get. So what's your advice on how do you handle that when that criticism starts to come?
The thing with criticism is, everyone's got an opinion. And most of the people that criticise you don't even know you. They've never had a conversation with you. They know nothing about you. So I really look at, most of the time you don't even know where they are. So I look at it and think, I really don't give a shit, because one, I don't even know who you are. Secondly, you don't even know me. We've never had a conversation. So whatever you're saying about me has no relevance. It's like someone telling me I'm purple. That means fuck all.
Over the past couple of months, Stephen on Facebook, and social media, he's been very vocal about other trainers lying, selling people onto courses and things like that, lying about their results, and taking them away from where they need to be. What's your take on all of this?
I agree with people being called out. If you see it, the coaching industry has been totally taken over by people who are full of shit, people who have no results, people who put a course together and it's all theory. It's things they've learned from somebody else. They've gone and sat someone else's course and then went, oh, I can do this. I'm going to take that information and put something together. And they've got no substance with it. They've got no way of, they've not experienced it firsthand. So it's dangerous. It's a dangerous place to be for people to go, I can be a coach, but they have not experienced any of the things that they're teaching firsthand. So if they're going to take mentees and people on a journey and sell them and say, do this, do that, do this, like, how can they tell somebody what to do if they've never done it and they've never experienced any of the pain points of doing that? And let's just say those people go and do some of the things that the coach tells them to do and they get into bother or they get into trouble. How's that coach going to help them at all when they've got no first-hand experience to go, I've dealt with this before, you need to do an X, Y, and Z. So I totally agree with it, because there is people out there, they're damaging the industry. They're totally fraudsters in it, and it's a short-lived thing for them. They're not bothered about the people. It's not something they want to continue with. It's something that they go, I'm going to get in and I'm going to get out. And it's short-lived, and it's damaging the industry.
How does somebody like myself, who's just starting out, or somebody who wants to make change, how do they go about doing that? What's the first steps?
Well, first of all, I'd say to anybody, don't ever just jump because it's like something you want to do. You have to make sure you've got a plan. You need to look and go, right, if I'm wanting to transition, and not be employed and I want to be self-employed, where's that point that I can make that move? Because a lot of people just go, oh, I'm going to do this, and they get themselves in a lot of trouble with it financially. Being your own boss, people think it's easy. It's not. It's hard work. There's responsibilities. There's things you have to do. And so I'll always say to somebody who's wanting to transition into business, make sure you've got your plan. When's the right time for you to do it? Financially, the right time for you to do it. And once you're in that business, do you have your business plan of how you're going to ensure that the money's going to come in as well?
How about then somebody wanting to make just a change in their life?
As in, just personally?
Personally, yeah, they might want to start a new weight loss regime, or they might want to, you know, just turn a new page. What's the first steps for them to do that? What's your advice on that?
So if you want to change anything, you've just got to start getting really honest with yourself and look at why you want to change it. And with anything, if you have a plan and you stick to it, you'll get your results. So most people might say, you know, like you said there, losing weight, people go, I want to lose weight. But it's easy saying it, but like, well, what do you want to lose? It has to be specific. You have to know exactly, well, what's your end, you know, gain from it? What does that look like? What results you want from it? And what's the stages you're going to take to get there as well? It's because I look at people most of the time in their lives with anything they want to do. If you're not disciplined to it, you don't have a plan, you haven't, you know, set out and hold yourself accountable to yourself as well, most of the time it's going to fail. And it's having no direction. I always say, like, you wouldn't ever go to an airport, get on a plane and just fly off and think, I don't even know where this plane's going, but you know, hey ho, I'll just get off on the other end. We'd never do it, but people do it in their lives all the time. They'll you know, just get on to a journey of something, but not knowing exactly where they're going with it. So if you've got a plan, you know, it's about being specific with that plan, having it aligned with what you want to achieve and working at it. And if you're going to, and the biggest thing is, like, most people say, oh, I need to tell other people to be held accountable. My attitude is, be accountable to yourself. Like, at the end of the day, you need to look yourself in the mirror and you know whether you did things or you didn't. Not your accountability partner, you. So don't let yourself down.
Where do you see the brand going?
The brand?
Yeah.
I see it global. I think the word, what it represents, will be global.
What do you see that's wrong in the world right now?
What's wrong in the world, if I could boil it down? I think there's a lot of take mentality, entitlement in the world. Most people, you know, always look at every situation of what am I getting? I don't see much give anymore.
And what's one piece of advice you'd give to anybody listening?
With life? One piece of advice, I would say, find out who you are. Most people don't know that. Find out what you want. Make a promise to yourself and go after it.